Have they cast Cloak and Dagger? Do we have a full rundown of the insanely talented Black Panther cast? And has Fox and Marvel finally come to an agreement, as Matt Key confirmed? 2 of these 3 things are true. Join us now on Marvel Movie News.
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Welcome, Merry Marvellites. This is episode 116 of Marvel Movie News, and I think in this moment I've decided that whenever Matt's not here, I'm going to troll Matt Key Confirms. And is that me? No? Okay. Hello, folks! Do we have a full Black Panther cast rundown of that insanely talented cast? Is there finally confirmation of Cloak and Dagger? And are Marvel and Fox finally hanging out, talking, making deals, and bringing the X-Men to the Marvel Universe? Well, 2 of these 3 things are probably true. Find out now on Marvel Movie News!
Welcome to Popcorn Talk, featuring movie discussion, news, and interviews. Popcorn Talk. We talk movies. And now, here's Popcorn Talk's Marvel Movie News.
Welcome, Merry Marvellites, to episode 116 of Marvel Movie News, where we bring you all the news from all the studios and tell you why you should be excited of everything like we are. Matt Key cannot be here today, so I'll be taking every opportunity to Key confirm as much as I can. Most of it probably won't be true, like the Fox Marvel thing, but he's not here to defend himself. So Matt Key has confirmed, in fact, Wolverine is officially a Marvel property.
Absolutely.
You heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. This week we've got a lot of great news. It's all pretty small, so we're going to go through it fairly quick, and that means we'll probably have time for fan stuff today, which is, I know, one of my favorite things.
Yes.
And as well as Markia, who is joining me today. Markia,
like usual.
As always. And what is Markia's info?
Oh, MarkiaMCCARTY, Twitter and Instagram.
Her and I are like, we love the fan stuff, so we might even plow through and make sure there's time. So if you have questions and stuff,
please send.
Today's the day.
Yes.
Now's the time. And joined by the ever lovely.
Oh, hello, I'm ever lovely. Hello, I'm Jack Conway. And I've been on the show before. You can find me on my podcast, which is Punch Drunk TV. It's myself and Aaron Pruner. Get drunk and yell about television. That goes live every Friday. You can find that on iTunes, and you can also find it at punchdrunktv.com. And there's one reason I'm here today, because I get to meet Koi's family.
Yes.
And so do you.
They're sitting on the couch right now.
The cosmic couch is full of my favorite Celestials in the Marvel Universe. We have my dad and sister are here. We just drove across the country, and we hit up New Orleans, we hit up Texas, we hit up the Grand Canyon, but the most important stop of all is here with you Marvelites. My dad and my sister, James and Juliana.
Woo!
Yay!
Pretty stoked, you guys. That's a bit of why we're a little late running behind stuff today, and it's going to be a little chaos, but
Sorry, folks.
It's awesome. My family's here. Yeah, anything you want to, Juliana, talk about your Instagram or anything?
No.
She has an Instagram.
Juliana's kind of a ham. We've been having to reel her in.
She's a big top on this one.
But she's given us a lot of dirt on Koi already.
Yes, so yes, with your Marvel questions, we'll be discussing your Marvel questions, but most importantly, your Koi questions. Please send those in. We're going to ask them directly to his family and embarrass him as horribly as we can.
There's a great addendum, like Marvel A and then Koi question B, where it's just like, oh, by the way, what's Iron Fist about? Also, when did Koi stop?
I came for B. I already know all the Marvel stuff. I need to know all the Koi dirt.
The Celestial Dirt Couch.
Yes.
It's real. It's real. So,
yes, and Gamer Girl, yes, send in questions now. Please do.
Celestial Dirt Couches at Coachella this year, I think.
They're
main
great
stage.
band. They're fantastic. They finally earned it. So you can find us on Popcorn Talk's website, popcorntalknetwork.com. You can follow us on Twitter at MarvelNewsPTN or at the Popcorn Talk. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/MarvelNewsShow. Follow us, like us, and if you tweet the link to the show while we're live, now we haven't dubbed our new producer yet. We haven't. I'm thinking Arcade, which Jack and I were discussing, because that's a great, right? Like Arcade's a fun.
His Murder World.
Right. Like
okay, because we get to name him, right?
I think like is that?
I mean, because he can't name himself.
Because that's just too egotistical. Yeah. For a show about comics, that's too much.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
So actually, we'll make the poll this week. What fans think?
Ooh, our new producer Anthony.
Because it's a show by the fans for the fans.
Let's hear you.
Anthony, what are your ideas? So this is Anthony. Anthony needs to be dubbed, so Anthony's going to come up with ideas. You guys can come up with ideas. So far, Arcade is the one Jack and I like.
Yeah.
Do you have any first instincts?
I don't know. I kind of like him as Quicksilver.
Ooh, I like that.
'cause he's fast.
I kind of like, yeah.
Michael Bay edited. We're gonna have a lot of quick cuts.
He's kind of lean.
I got you. I got you.
And he was
comes in
like
the room,
quick on the
disappears.
take.
Yeah.
So
you got some big metallic shoes to fill. Quicksilver / Arcade
Well,
/
it depends
Anthony.
if he's Fox's Quicksilver or Marvel's, because that does change things.
Yeah.
Solid.
Sorry,
doesn't
Aaron
that?
Taylor Johnson. You just weren't Evan Peters. So we should probably do some news. I'm thinking, let us start out with, we've been waiting months, maybe almost a year to really know what was going on with Cloak and Dagger. I know you guys have been super interested and wondering where that's going. It's been like all quiet on the Western Front until this week. When
Yes.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden they were like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, we didn't forget. We've actually cast everyone. We're going through. We've clearly got script. Like, stuff's moving.
Yeah.
So they cast Olivia Holt has been cast as Tandy Bowen, and they have Tyrone Johnson will be playing. I mean, Tyrone is his name.
Yes.
Who's the actor's name? I don't know
Aubrey
what's his-
Joseph.
Aubrey Joseph.
Aubrey
thank you.
Joseph is playing
Matt
Tyrone.
Key, you did that on purpose.
Aubrey Joseph.
Aubrey Joseph is playing Tyrone, and now I think the breakdowns that they've released are under different pseudonyms, as they often do. But those are who they've cast as our two leads. I don't know either of these actors.
I do not know them.
Which makes me happy that they're unknowns.
Yeah, Olivia comes from a Disney background. She's done a few Disney, and this is Freeform, of course, which is Disney owned, ABC, Disney,
ABC,
etc.
yeah.
And yes, she comes from a few Disney shows and seems to have her chops there. And Aubrey Joseph, we saw actually, he played the son character in the what is it called, The Night Of, that huge HBO show from last year.
Yes.
It was a brief moment, but he was John Turturro's son and had a great, a few great scenes, minimal. I with you am glad that they're picking people that we haven't seen a lot of, and I saw in an interview, and I don't think it was Feige, forgive me, I don't remember who they were interviewing, but they were basically saying that, like, people are like, how will this work on, how will a Marvel series work on Freeform, which is more family and more,
Right.
Disney a little
And
bit.
long form,
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
honest. Like, I never saw Cloak and Dagger as a serialized, so.
Nor did I ever see them as a romantic couple. We've discussed that on the show before. They're very rarely in the comics are they actually a romance. They're usually just a team.
Until the Ultimate reboot, which was super romance-based.
Yes.
And the Ultimate Edition is what a lot of the TV
lot of the
and
films
films
are
are based
based on.
off.
You're right.
I really like the Ultimate Cloak and Dagger because
I do too.
they set it up with this amazing flashback with prom. Do you
Yeah.
remember that?
Yes.
Have you read the Ultimate Cloak and Dagger?
I have not.
There's basically a whole prom setup that takes place longer than you actually meet Cloak and Dagger. So you fall in love with them
Oh.
before you fall in love with Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
So
That's cute.
You care more about their love.
Yeah,
than
Tandy.
It's beautiful.
Tandy goes to high school with Peter Parker throughout
Yeah.
the entire beginning of Ultimate Spider-Man. Anyway, to that end, the producer, and I apologize, I don't think it was Feige, used the quote, and he said, I wouldn't put Punisher on Freeform. Like, we know what we're
Right,
doing.
right.
Like, there are certain properties that lend themselves to this. And what I personally am curious about is that the storyline of Cloak and Dagger back in the day when it came out was very much about drugs. It was about drugs on the street.
hugely about drugs.
And
There we
they
go.
received their powers based on drugs, basically, and we'll go into quite,
Nice.
and you guys will discuss their powers later. But that's also kind of deals with drugs. So I'm curious how deeply they'll go into that.
Well, basically, it was a great commentary on a lot of the gang problems at the time, and it was like a Romeo and Juliet story because they were like people out of different like backgrounds. And what they did really cool with the Ultimate Edition was they had everyone kind of against them getting together as the Romeo and Juliet was as well,
Right.
but without it being like, Montagues and Capulets. It was like
Yeah.
implied. And I love the idea of the Freeform having that as an element of these two people from totally different worlds. The love is more powerful, more important. Oh, also, they've got powers.
Yes.
Okay, so for three things real quick. So for the whole drug thing, I think people would be on board with that, if only for the simple fact that since we've already established like things with Winter Soldier, with Bucky, we've established with Luke Cage, that whole pharmaceutical element, people are okay with it. I think if they take it to street level pharmaceutical, then I think that they could still get away with that. And then Sky Patterson said Koi's dad and Koi's sister look like incredible geniuses.
Yes.
And I
agree.
had to be like, yes. And then Vegito 247, Aunt Manthony.
Oh, damn.
I like the use of that.
That was
and
nice.
Anthony. I like it.
That was real
Anthony.
Full
nice.
support. Full support.
Love that.
Do you want to
Thank
talk
you for
about
that.
Cloak and Dagger's powers?
So basically, Cloak and Dagger have powers that sound like their names, and they're also very of the 70s.
Yes, yes.
So Dagger generates a living light force that she can throw as daggers of light, which she can also redirect if they miss their target. So kind of like Boomerang, but that power of it comes from her and it's light. She can use this light force like a white mage mage healer and heal people to a certain extent, which was hugely important in one of my favorite runs, the Maximum Carnage storyline. Cloak and Dagger were giant in the Maximum Carnage storyline.
They even made the video game.
They did, and then disappeared for a decade. Whereas Cloak has basically a portal within him that goes to the Dark Force dimension, and it compels him to absorb life force, so he usually uses it on bad people. It isn't a good time. Nobody wants to be in there. Nobody's happy about it. So you've got a light and a dark, and he can also use that to teleport, which is also hugely important and could be cool on the show. Like, I could see that power set working on an ABC Freeform budget. Whereas I think the Ghost Rider stuff on S.H.I.E.L.D. was a beautiful curse, because it became the most powerful, and they got all the ratings. They're like, yeah, we got Ghost Rider, and then like 3 episodes in, they're like, we've run out of money.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like, ooh.
Yeah. Do y'all like robots?
Yeah. They have to do like a Fly episode of Breaking Bad for the rest of the season. Like, what if we're in a room and we talk about Marvel?
What I think is interesting about what I remembered most about, I came into through Cloak and Dagger as a kid by reading Power Pack. Just don't judge me. I love that book as a kid. It was about little kids with powers. I'm assuming that will be the next. Marvel will do something with that. It's too easy. But anyway, what was interesting to me was Cloak and Dagger had a very symbiotic relationship in that Cloak literally needs to feed from Dagger's light powers, or he gets consumed fully by darkness.
Right.
And she needed a sort of a protector and a friend throughout all this. I'd also like to note that when these characters came out in the 70s, it's so bizarre. Like, that was a bold choice to just have like an African American character and a Caucasian character like hanging out and that close as a team.
Right.
That was weird at the time. That like the X-Men was a diverse group, but like this was like they're always together, and he literally like envelops her and holds her, and that was like, oh, that's controversial. I remember that was a deal. Like.
And I think it's important right now.
Yeah.
I think that we need a show that, I think ABC Freeform needs a show that's a little darker.
Yes.
And therefore the drug aspect, like you're talking about, the street pharmaceuticals can give them a little edge.
Yes.
And it's also a love story with teenagers. So it's perfect for Freeform if you go from that angle, which is, I think, the right way to go, and what the casting looks like to me.
Yeah.
They cast a Disney kid and a young actor. We don't know. We don't have any associations to these actors. We're not going to be like, oh, Michael B. Jordan, I see him as blank. This doesn't work because I put Michael B. Jordan in everything, because that man is perfect. That dude can,
he's
that dude
perfect.
can do anything. Like, Fruitvale Station to Creed. That, like, if there's a character, I'm like, what if Michael B. Jordan played him? He's the Ben Foster of the younger set.
Yes.
Ben Foster, 30 plus, under 30, Michael B. Jordan.
I also feel like Cloak in the comics used to have like a scarred kind of face. I feel like he was all messed up, but then he just kind of got handsome recently.
Like
and
Seal?
It doesn't seem... Here's what I can tell you. Here's why I say that. Because I remember the first Cloak and Dagger action figures were Toys R Us exclusives. They were repaints, and Dagger was a Psylocke figure, and Cloak was a Deadpool figure with the Deadpool face, with the creepy Deadpool face, repainted with a cloak.
Did not know
and
that.
And he had Deadpool face. So, like, I remember his
that
face was all effed up.
Yeah. So he was like Seal.
And he was like Seal.
Oh, that's wrong.
I mean,
that's so
there's
wrong.
no denying Seal has face marks. Fantastic voice. Kissed by the Rose of the Dead. That might have been what happened. He was kissed by the Rose of the Dead. Now, Cloak and Dagger has been long anticipated, finally cast, which means we'll be moving forward very quickly. As soon as they announce the cast, that means they're going. Because I assume they leaked it so quickly because paparazzi, they don't want to be discovered unofficially. So I think the show's about to go.
Just full speed ahead.
Yeah, so we've been waiting. Now it's happening. I'm pretty excited.
Once we see, and I hope that the cloak is the black and blue stripes, once I see that on screen, I'm going to be so excited.
There's so many, like, deep cut Marvel characters I never thought would see the light of day. I never would be like ABC Freeform Cloak and Dagger.
Yeah.
But here we are.
And you know what I think? I might be wrong, including Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I feel like this is our first teleporter in them. No, we had one in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. One of the Inhumans was a teleporter, I believe, or did they go real fast? I know Yo-Yo goes fast. I feel like one of the Inhumans in the camp was a teleporter, and I can't remember. I'm sorry, I might be wrong. But Cloak is one of our first major character teleporters, and that's just huge. In every Marvel comic book crossover, they always bring in the teleporters.
Yeah, Maximum Carnage. They're like, we need healing and
exactly. And
like,
Cloak was a huge part of Civil War 1, Civil War 2. Every time there's a fight, all the heroes call in Cloak and jump inside him and go somewhere else. Yeah.
And I love the idea of having an actual love story be the core of it, because we've got, like, you know, the Bucky Cap romance, which is implied, and we've got the we've got all the characters that have their love story, but we don't have 13 hours to dive into it. We don't have however long this show's going to run, half an hour or whatever. It's going to be nice to actually be like, oh, we're not going to get stale on Marvel because now we have a show that's this.
Yeah, and I'm also happy with, like, Freeform what used to be ABC Family. They changed it over to Freeform, and their shows, like, I don't love all of their shows, but shows like Stitchers and things like that, they're really putting together a new look and feel.
Right.
And I think they're ready for this.
And I think that people have grown up with ABC Family are older now, so they can have a teen audience instead of a tween and younger audience.
Yeah, I've seen them put together more adult things. I think that they will cover the drug issues, and it won't be too much of a pushback.
Right.
Because it's not ABC Family anymore.
From Gamer Girl, there was a teleporter reporter. His name was Gordon.
Thank you. He was an Inhuman,
He's a guy
believe.
with no eyes.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Thank you very much. Thank you. Absolutely.
So I think Cloak and Dagger's gonna be great. I think the casting is fun. I think I'm happy they're unknowns, mostly unknown. Like I'm glad they have some experience.
Lesser known.
They have
But
chops.
lesser known, yeah.
Lesser known.
And I'm excited. So we're gonna move on to The Defenders, which is the corner of the TV universe / my favorite corner of probably the Marvel universe, which is saying quite a bit. Whenever I think like I have a favorite movie, I just go like, but remember Daredevil. And I just remember
Right.
13 hours of pure bliss and then another season that was even better to me
Yeah.
and just being like, oh, I've achieved peak geek.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the two of you, have you seen any of the Netflix Marvel, and do you have anything that you really liked?
Yeah.
Julianne?
I watched the first season of Daredevil with my mom.
Yeah.
We both really liked it, but
Was that your... Did you see season 2 yet of Daredevil?
no, not yet.
Have you seen any of the others? Like, what else do we
Jessica
have? Luke
Jones.
Cage,
Jessica Jones.
Oh,
Luke
yeah.
Cage.
I watched Jessica Jones. I haven't watched Luke Cage yet,
Yeah.
though.
Luke Cage
So you're
is
about
really
halfway.
good.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Season 1 of Daredevil has some very adult scenes. That's not fun to
I
watch
watched
with your
Game
mom.
of Thrones with him.
Now
That's awkward mom watching, for sure.
look young, but she's actually 18, so she's like, it's great.
Yeah,
It's just
I'm just,
a
but
lot
still,
of moisturizer.
look, I'm 43. I don't want to watch that with my parents either. Like, I'm just saying, like, that's awkward couch time. You're like, I'm gonna get some popcorn, all right?
And Luke Cage's gotta get coffee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
man.
Don't watch
Getting
Luke Cage with your
coffee.
mom. Luke
Yeah,
Cage is
Luke
the
Cage is getting
sexiest in the
coffee.
Marvel series.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
They're all amazing, and I think Netflix is really, pulling in the big guns.
Yeah.
And I think The Defenders is going to be the culmination of that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I also-
and Iron Fist is coming out in March, so
around
that's
the
right
bend.
around the corner. Yeah.
I heard a rumor about, before we get into the news about Defenders, a certain guy who I consider the Watcher of the universe
Yes.
is having a cameo in The Defenders. And he has not had a cameo in the other series yet.
Peter Dinklage.
Sir Stan Lee.
Oh yes, he's the
Remember
Watcher.
this?
Oh, yeah, you were
Really?
I thought that
I
Peter
thought
Dinklage
you
is
were
not
saying
gonna
like
be
the
a
Watcher.
Watcher.
I was like,
I refer to
I
Stan.
remember.
It was like Peter Dinklage, who I want to be cast,
Yeah,
but
the
when I
Watcher.
watch the movies, the Marvel movies, the only way Stan Lee makes
Stan
sense
Lee
in
is-
canon is he's the Watcher.
Because he's the Watcher.
Every time of great stress or
Yeah.
big events, that's how he's in Sony, Marvel, and Fox, is because Stan Lee's the Watcher.
And they
he's
talked
in
about-
multiple universes, guys.
I'm assuming they talked about Dinklage last week. Just to throw that tidbit in there, you saw that he
Yeah.
dyed his hair bright red, which brings us back to Pip the Troll or Arrow, Star Fox. They're
Right.
still saying it might be
Okay,
Star Fox.
that's
So I'm sorry, just a
Or
tidbit.
a brightly
Yeah.
red-headed
Yes.
Uatu.
It's an
do
origin
that.
story of a Watu, a young boy in an
A young
orphanage.
Watu.
Yeah, and then his head gets really big.
And
Yeah.
one day he would become the Watcher, and then he's Stan Lee once he grows into
And then,
full.
yeah.
And then,
And then there you go.
I'm both right. So in my opinion, that's who Stan Lee is, and apparently he's in the Defenders, which is exciting.
He wasn't in any of the other Netflix shows,
is
right?
yeah,
That's a
exactly.
first for Stan. Okay.
Which ties
trying
in
to
the
think.
universe together.
Yeah, I can't think of a cameo that he had, not right now off the top of my head.
It's still a rumor. There was a clickbait link that said it was going to reveal what he does, and I didn't want to know, so I avoided it.
Yeah.
If you guys
Okay.
Google, I'm sure it's out there. I want to be like, oh, Stan Lee's here. I don't want to have that.
I like that they waited to Defenders though.
That's cool, right?
Instead of just throwing him in all of them. That's cool.
'Cause it's
yeah,
like the
because that's
build-up.
the movie,
Right.
basically. That's cool.
Isn't that cool? I like
Yeah,
that. So,
I like that a lot.
Basically, we've got a couple photos. We've got a picture of Jessica Jones and Luke Cage together, which is just... When you're reading a comic and you wait for a character to jump in, that's always really exciting when you're like, I know Spider-Man series coming. For me to have a TV version of that where I'm like, I know that Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are going to meet up and have a screenshot, it's like its own promotion. Like, we don't
Yeah.
need much else as comic geeks to be like, oh, this is going to happen,
Yep.
you guys. So we've got a
Anthony,
picture.
if we could see that picture.
Can we pull up that for the folks on the internet?
There we
So
go.
we've got this awesome image, which is basically a comic book cover.
Yeah, it's got Luke Cage talking with Jessica Jones. You see, he's got the hoodie. He's
Trademark
got
hoodie.
he's got that bright yellow around his face. I love that they do little touches like that. She has her infinity scarf on.
Yeah, they gave them like branding costumes, but like
Yeah.
the equivalent of like a New York fashion choice.
Yes.
Like an infinity scarf is her superhero suit, and we're all like, that's
It
it,
is.
Jessica Jones, she's suited up.
That's all she needs.
She's ready.
I'm not used to seeing Luke Cage in a non-shot up hoodie. It's been a while.
Yeah, he just got that.
No
you
bullet
guys.
holes
He just-
yet,
he just
yeah.
got it all
Not
sorted.
yet.
So, I mean, the Defenders, for me, a big part of the excitement is to see all these guys come together. So all these, like, leaked... We usually don't do paparazzi photos here, or try not to, because I don't like supporting them.
Yeah.
But this is, to me, a comic cover, a moment, an exciting event. So it's awesome. I'm excited. We've also got another picture of Sigourney Weaver. Now, Sigourney Weaver we know very little about. All we know is that she's Alexandra and that she's a
Yes.
villain. And then we had the
Yes.
one quote that she could believe she's the smartest person in the room, but also believe that she could take you out with a flamethrower.
Yes,
I
which
think-
is Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
That
I
is
mean,
that is
yeah.
Sigourney.
If I saw that
Yeah.
breakdown, I'd be like, oh, we have to get Sigourney Weaver.
Right.
This is all... Okay,
Yeah.
list
Yeah.
Sigourney Weaver.
It's either Sigourney Weaver or Angela Bassett. That's that character.
Or Carrie
Well
Ann
said.
Moss, who's already in the show.
Or Carrie
Yeah.
Ann. Yeah.
Yeah, so
There we
it's
go.
we need a Sigourney Weaver type. What if we called Sigourney Weaver?
Or Helen Mirren. We can keep on
big
going.
list.
We can keep
There are a
on
lot
going.
of
But, yeah.
very incredible actors.
Yes.
But it's not much of an image. It's just a little quick bit of her looking real mad.
She is not pleased in this photo. It's her sitting
No.
in a car, staring out the window, and she is not liking what she's seeing.
And it's a Getty Images vehicle.
Do any viewers have any theories on who she is? Because I have none. I have said this on the show before. I don't know enough about the street level or Marvel heroes to know their backstory. Like a lot of them were like Cottonmouth and stuff. Were surprised me. I knew of them because of the who's and whatever. But
Mahershala Ali and then
Yeah.
like Cottonmouth, that they chose that
Yeah.
specific
So
because
perfect.
he wasn't like a huge big bad.
Also, congratulations to Mahershala Ali for all the awards he's been winning this
my
season, because that man is just.
I saw Moonlight and I ached inside. I wanted to hug every single character in that film.
He's incredible in everything he
amazing.
does, and he's so overdoing these awards. Like he's been House of Cards on. Like God, that guy is just so
Yeah,
good.
he's killing it.
So, thank you, Cottonmouth, for being you.
Thank you.
Now, I think that Sigourney Weaver might be playing the Manoki, I think it's pronounced, in GNUCCI. It's a Punisher villain.
Okay.
That's the only.
Oh, wait, what?
That's my theory.
Oh my gosh, that's okay. So that's a Garth Ennis run. That's
Right.
she's sort of the
Steve
equivalent
Dillon art.
of Grandma from Preacher.
Right.
How
cool would that be?
Yeah, and it's
Pretty cool.
horrifying. Oh my goodness.
Awesome.
What if
I
they cleaned up that
love
character?
that theory. Yeah, so you're right. It's two words, ma, like a mother,
Gnocchi.
gnocchi, or not gnocchi, like I'm saying it wrong, but yes.
Yeah, something like that with those words.
And I wanted to say 10 things about the character, but they're all later down the plot run. So
we
that,
don't know what spoilers
but a
might be.
fascinating bad guy. Oh man, I hope you're right. But it gets kind of almost silly by the end. So
It
we'll
does, but
see.
they've been really good about curbing that.
Yeah.
I mean, Marvel's done a really good job of being like, this character gets at this point, they could be like, hey, what if Hugo Weaving is Fin Fang Foom? Be like,
Yeah.
what if Hugo
What
Weaving
if?
is Fin Fang Foom? It's okay,
mean,
he was the Red Skull too. What if
yeah.
he's Fin Fang Foom?
Why not?
now?
Oh my goodness.
So, I believe.
That's a great theory. Yeah, and viewers, any other theories, please let us know. But I love that one. If that's the character she's playing, man, that'd be amazing.
So that's something.
Okay.
Now, before I briefly Cloak and Dagger experience. Do you have any Cloak and Dagger thoughts?
I think it's an interesting play, actually, because it'll be interesting to see how they do Cloak. Because is he going to be able to just walk in and out of shadows, or is it going to be the cloak envelopes him and then disappears and that sort of thing? I agree with what you said, though, about the symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting how they play that out.
And I hope they do. And it was sort of, the whole thing was about drugs, and that was sort of where they were going with that, is that they were both addicts to each other.
Yeah, because he kind of saves her from a chicken hawk, if I recall.
Yeah,
She gets her to New
yeah,
York, so.
yeah. A few storylines like that.
And then it's always good to have some mortality with your superheroes. Like, for instance, with like Iron Fist, where it's like he can run out of chi, like running out of batteries.
Yes.
And then he's just, just has the martial arts.
Right. That's all. Just years of training.
Just years of being a
Just
badass
that.
on the
Yeah.
street. I think that the Defenders is our Avengers, and that's like very intentional. And I think that having a show like that and then a Cloak and Dagger the same year, like there's 2 months this year left that don't have a property released, and we've got 2 in March.
Yeah.
Like that's insane. Remember when we had to wait like 5 years
Yeah.
for a Marvel thing, and then
Yeah.
all of a sudden it was like
No,
one a year.
I've forgotten that dark period of my life.
Remember Blade and X-Men? When they were long.
Yeah, I'm old enough that I had to just take scraps. All right,
Yeah.
I saw the Generation X pilot.
Oh,
all
I
right,
remember that well,
so
man.
yeah, I took the Agents of the what was it, Hasselhoff as Nick Fury pilot. Like that was all I got in life. So
I remember the days of like Blade's a comic book movie. Trust me. Like when it was
Yeah.
like, oh, there's a vampire action movie. No,
Yes.
it's a comic. It's a comic.
yes,
I
we
need
had
this.
we had Wizard magazine casting people in movies that would never happen.
And
That
now-
was so cool.
The chat room wants to know, did you have koi when you were 12? Because you're obviously 25.
Thank you. My question also. I typed that in. For real,
just-
18?
18 and lots of moisturizer, guys. You too can
Good, clean living.
You're
Yeah.
all babies.
real healthy life. So I think that there were so many of those in the opening of the show, and I didn't want to start the show with like, and so in the beginning I was born. So
Nice.
I think the Defenders is going to be building up to an Avengers-like thing. I think that with the Sigourney Weaver as the bad guy, that's something I think arguably better than a bunch of gray minions. Having a street-level show with a street-level villain that's as Sigourney Weaver as Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
Right.
Real stoked.
Yeah, I don't want like aliens versus Defenders. That's ridiculous.
It doesn't work.
Right? Yeah. Do you think the hand will be called in though? Because we need grunts, right?
think we have to.
no,
We're gonna need some
it's
ninja
like it
fighting,
definitely
right?
has to.
There's
Definitely
a big
has
hole.
to.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, that's right. The big hole.
So in season 2 ended
Yeah.
with a hole.
Yeah.
We don't
Yeah.
know.
Hole full of ninjas.
Nothing ever landed. We just
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
So
Not
if
even
they-
not even the blind guy could, hear the bottom.
Right? Yeah.
If we have a hole
With
that
this-
big, it's
Yeah.
literally a hole.
Exactly.
So I think that has to be
Full of
filled.
ninjas.
so to speak. So yeah, Defenders, I think we'll go delve into that world. Now, anything else on Defenders we'll move on?
It's awesome. Can't wait.
I can't wait for Jessica Jones in that world. You know what I mean? Like, she's kind of the Spider-Man, if you will, of the group, and that everyone else is like, this is what we got to do, and she'll be like, this is ridiculous. I hate this. Like, she's the kind of joke-cracking, like, this is dumb. Why are we fighting in pajamas kind of person, and I love that.
I'm glad it's 2 and 2. I mean, Daredevil and Luke Cage are arguably more stoic and more...
Yeah, but don't you think Iron Fist 2
No,
he's a Zen master,
yeah,
like, right?
and
But
he's so but he's kind of like a bonding agent too, and he's newer to it than the rest of them. I think he's going to be like the refreshing like breath of wind that you have.
In the sense that like everyone else is like, I'm tortured,
right,
and this
right.
sucks, and he's like, yo, Zen.
Yes.
We got to figure it out, guys.
Yeah,
Yes.
he's like, what's awesome? We're all super and we help people.
Right. But like Jessica Jones versus ninjas, that's really appealing to me because that should never happen. That's why I can't wait to see it.
In the trailer, we got the Iron Fist.
Yes.
And like the image of that charging up with Daredevil just fighting in a hallway, Luke Cage crushing people with like doors,
Yes. Oh my
and
God.
Jessica Jones just like leaping. It's a video game.
Yeah.
It's on Netflix. It's got Sigourney Weaver.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to even 3 years ago past you? You can't.
I know.
You can't. You wouldn't believe you.
I hope they do something really fun, like with the cinematography, like maybe even like side-scrolling fun. Because like back in the day, like the arcade games.
Imagine
with,
the
like,
raid in a hallway, side-scroller
Oh.
with 4 superheroes just
That
doing
would be
their
so
individual
fun.
fight stuff.
Yep.
They will.
I hope they do.
Apparently, there's a hallway fight scene that's like.
That's the
epic.
next.
Yeah.
Supposed
the
to be
next
epic.
level.
So we see you, old boy. We're coming.
Yeah.
And that's what I want, and that's what I think they have all the potential to do. It's literally, I want an entire episode hallway fight scene. I just want 60 minutes.
It's just called the hallway.
It's like the
The name of
Fast
the
and the
episode
Furious.
is
It's like
six
there's a break in the
airport
middle
line.
where they have shawarma and then they go back to eating.
We're back. We didn't recharge. But like the airline flight scene in Fast 6 where it's like the longest
It's just
like
never-
possible
yes.
airport.
Wow.
That's what I want for a hallway. They go to the Americana and they just duel it out.
Hallway.
So moving on to Guardians of the Galaxy before I get too hypey about hallways.
And don't forget to send in questions. We're gonna get to that at the end. So I haven't gotten any questions
She's
from y'all.
keeping an eye out.
Zero? Well, except about Koi's family.
Yeah, I mean that's.
And I sent those in.
I have been saying questions
I've
while
been
we've been
typing
going
those off
on.
camera.
So now James Gunn is very good at giving fans the smallest of tidbits about what Guardians is going to be. We still know very little. Like the trailer was great at being like, "Hey, remember how much you love these guys? This isn't the plot." That's one of the things I liked about that trailer is basically there's the Marvel universe and then there's like James Gunn's Guardianverse, and they certainly touch, but they're not the same.
No.
And that allows these trailers to be like, we don't need to show all these characters. We just remember how much you love this.
Right.
So he went on Facebook Live and basically gave us a taste of the music. And Marvel, one of the Marvel's follies is their scores aren't as memorable as like the Batman score.
agree.
And,
Oh
like,
yeah, which is epic. Well, because Prince.
and Danny Elfman, like the
and
combination
Danny
of that
Elfman.
was like, and Spider-Man, arguably the Sam Raimi one had a great score that like if you
Yeah.
hear
Well,
it,
Hans Zimmer is pretty cool too.
but Marvel hasn't arguably had that. They
Yeah.
haven't had a score that, and Wonder Woman, I'd say is the modern one.
Oh
You did
yeah,
that
that's
one
that's
really
just
strong.
kind of
That was
yeah,
really
it
strong.
gets you.
Yeah.
It gets you right right in the soft gooey center.
Yeah, you want to do. So I'd say that's been a weakness. Now I think that releasing a bit of the score. Now is this something we can
Which
play?
we have, yes. So we're gonna.
Aunt Anthony, shall we?
Can we rock out to that?
You might be a different superhero or supervillain each time.
I like it.
That's
Haven't
true, too.
decided
That's
yet.
fun. I like that.
Yeah, because there were actually some really good ones in chat room.
The stakes are high.
Yeah, this is posted on Instagram if you want to see it yourself. James Gunn posted it, I believe, and it's a shot of the chorus is part of the chorus.
The loudest sound on the internet is silence. And here we are.
Yeah, but it's a lot of people standing on risers. They're in a big hall type of thing.
Sometimes internet companies and internet don't get along, and I think this is where we are.
ours
I
is
think we've had slow internet this time, so what we might do is tweet this link out if we can't get it to work the next couple seconds. You guys can have a listen. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It is going to be... The thing about Guardians was that music, man. Oh,
Oh, here it is. And that's all you get. It just repeats now.
Halo 7 confirmed.
Like,
So, but
I
it's
love that. It reminds me
Yeah.
of episode 1, like the cool duel of the
Mm-hmm.
fates in Phantom Menace, which is a positive thing about episode 1, which I don't get to talk about often.
It's hard to get through that sentence, but yeah, I guess there.
That was a positive thing in episode
very good.
1, so that reminds me of that kind of scope, that epicness.
Yes, but let's be clear: the music of Guardians of the Galaxy that we remember is not the
The score.
symphonic, the score at all.
But if they can do that and the score
I
of
agree
Guardians,
with you 100%.
there's no version of James Gunn that didn't spend the last 3 years making sure that soundtrack was. It's a #1 charting album, and it was a soundtrack to a superhero movie.
Yes.
Let's give that all the credit it
Yes.
deserves. He knows that's where the bar is. That's happening.
Yeah.
So to
Yeah.
have a good score and that means maybe the Marvel music curse is ending.
Yeah,
Like he's
that'd be nice.
investing, he's carrying, it's something
That'd be
going
nice.
forward. So we saw Wonder Woman. We know how much that made us feel. Let's get some Marvel action.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Full DC props. You heard it here. I think that DC has better music than Marvel, and
They do.
that's the DC listeners. This is my love to you, Wonder Woman. That score is incredible.
Okay, but real quick, Iron Fist, because I don't think that's in the
real
one that you
No,
have.
please.
Yeah. So for Iron Fist, we know that hip hop icon RZA is directing episode 6 of Iron Fist, and episode 6 is called "Immortal Emerges from Cave." So, and we know that RZA is he loves martial arts. He's very big into that genre, and the fact that previously. We didn't know who was going to be directing that one. We still don't know who's going to be directing episode 4, for instance. But yeah, now that we know that it's RZA. And then just to let you know, some of the recently released names for Iron Fist we have 11 of the 13 episodes. Like episode 1, Snow Gives Way. Then there's Shadowhawk Takes Flight. Rolling Thunder Cannon Punch.
Yes.
That's the name of an episode. And I want to see that episode.
Whatever that's
so
about, I'm so excited
I
for.
know. And then 8 Diagram Dragon Palm. It's that's right up there with Kill Bill. No,
It is.
the 5-finger was
Yes.
it 5-finger
I'm
palm
hoping
touch?
we learn one in every episode.
Yeah, but you can.
It's like a workout
cool.
video.
Maybe.
Yeah. At the end, he's
Maybe.
like, "Did you enjoy learning about my punch today? Here's how I did it."
Why, yes.
Iron Fist says.
The end of every episode is a tutorial, like a yoga video, but for violence.
Yeah.
Into it.
Yeah, but there's some amazing ones like The Blessing of Many Fractures, The Mistress of All Agonies. It's
all
I
awesome.
Love,
Every
it's really,
sentence is
I
exciting.
love that. Yeah.
So I have a question for James and Juliana. I didn't have a big history with Iron Fist. I don't know as much about him. Do you guys know of Iron Fist? Is this a character you know anything about or have any background with?
I've read a few of their comics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't mean to
What
put you
are
on the
some comics
spot.
that you
I
would
just-
recommend for
Oh, jeez.
Iron Fist?
Up in this count, I'm like, I don't have that answer.
Yeah, I don't have
Yeah,
that
that's
either.
sorry to
Yeah.
put you on the spot.
I meant years and years.
Yeah. I liked they brought him in Ultimate series with Spidey, and I liked that in some team ups. I liked that Iron Fist because it was still the kind of cocky playboy
Right.
Right.
fight guy. But and I don't know if you guys know either, but his look has been different. He often has a mask on, a bright yellow mask, almost like Spider-Man's costume when he was still figuring out his costume, or Daredevil's really
Yeah.
in this series.
Piecing
It's
it
kind of
together.
like that. But I don't think we're not getting that. We're just
I think we'll get a taste of it like
Do you
Luke
think?
Cage's perfect 70s cameo.
I'll bet you're right.
That, I guarantee he'll be figuring
Yeah.
out how to, and he'll put something over his face that's yellow, and everyone will
he's
go,
right.
What?
Yeah.
and then it'll cut.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll get. We'll get a moment of oh my god, and then it'll cut.
Yeah, which
that's
was
where I think we'll
absolutely
go.
excellent in Luke Cage when they had that, where it was just
4 of the
Find out
best
what you
frames
wanted.
of TV
Yeah.
history.
Yeah.
With a chain and all. 4 of the best frames of just they did it.
They
you.
did it.
Look at them
They
go.
did it.
I think we'll get that with Iron Fist.
Yeah.
And I think that now to put it in perspective, my dad's actually the one that got me into comics. So when I was barely reading, I was stealing as many of his as I could. And basically going forward in comics was the Claremont, the Byrne, that era of X-Men was where I started from his collection. So that was when he was reading comics. Now that's in Iron Fist is at the end of his height. To have him come back is going to be really interesting because he's not a defender in the traditional sense in the
No.
comics. He's now canon as a defender, but it's going to be interesting to see how they make his very out there power set work in the street level world. They've given a lot of supernatural stuff credence in this universe, but I don't know how this Iron Fist is going to play. And the titles of it is very interesting because that's
Yes.
full leaning into the weird. That's
Yeah,
all the
it's-
way
it's like-
we know this is crazy.
It's like a poem.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
actually
well said.
beautiful. It makes you already kind of feel for it. Kind of like with Luke Cage. I mean, some of the articles that I read with it, they were liking it to Luke Cage a lot, like Danny Rand made sure to... Danny Rand, oh my gosh. Yes,
Iron Fist.
the
Real
actual character.
actual Danny
Ben
Rand
Jones.
was a consultant.
Yeah, that he actually made a playlist of things that he felt like would
Yeah,
be... Yeah,
that's cool.
I love that.
Yeah, and then like to have, Wu-Tang, to have RZA just directing. Oh, and then even like Tim Coogan in the chat room, RZA directing an episode of an Iron Fist TV series made 12-year-old me pass out.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, Wu-Tang is that flavor, and especially RZA. Like, when I think RZA, I think of, like, the foot fist. Like, he's got a very specific martial arts, but, like, the coolest martial arts ever.
I know.
Yes.
It's
Like, you want to know
chill,
everything about it.
But, like, yeah.
It's intense, but it's also, like, the word cool is overused. RZA's cool.
Yes.
Like, you see that guy talk, you're like,
That
all
was
right.
cool.
Whatever you're selling, I'm
Okay, knows
buying.
what's going on.
So to see him direct an episode of a show that's about martial arts and chi, I'm like, oh, this guy's been ready for this for 40 years. Like, his whole life, he's like, I've been studying chi. In fact. So, like, for him to direct, I'm like, that just makes sense.
Absolutely.
So I'm excited. And the titles, I agree. I'm so glad you looked those up because I hadn't seen that. So that's dope.
So, and that's coming in March, right? So, wow, right around the corner.
Yeah, that's
It's
like
practically
now.
February. It's
February
February in
tomorrow.
Europe.
It is February. Some of our viewers are experiencing February.
In Japan, I'm sure it's February.
That means we get Logan in a month.
That
and we
is
get
true.
Iron Fist right around the corner after that. So, whoa. It begins. 2017 is full Marvel tilt in like a month. And then it doesn't stop. It just keeps going until the end of the year, which is awesome. And then 2018's more. So this is the quiet time. I hope you guys have saved your money because you're about to spend a lot of it.
It's going to be real poor
It's
this year.
going to get dark. Now, I think that that's a good tangent over to Infinity War, where the actress playing Mantis
And we have that picture.
effectively, which is probably, as far as the Marvel snipers are concerned, not the safest move on her part. But Mantis has posted saying that she is in Infinity War. Basically, do we have the picture?
Remember from the link, and it's the picture. It's a picture of her in the Infinity War hat.
And with a hashtag Infinity War. And that basically, that's as much confirmation as we'll probably get until it comes out. I can't imagine that character is a giant part because of how many characters are in it. We haven't met her yet.
Right.
But this does give further credence to the fact that, in fact, the Guardians are as involved as we've assumed they were, and as Vin Diesel has been saying for years that they were.
Yeah.
Because that man is the anti-NWA.
There's Palm. There she is.
Yeah, and I still love her in that trailer for Guardians,
Yes.
where she's like, "You feel love."
Oh my god.
For her.
Yeah, that character's going to be
Scene
so
is
much fun.
so good.
Have you guys seen the Guardians trailer?
Yeah.
So Mantis has just confirmed herself for Infinity War, which implies not only do we have the core Guardians, we have the full supporting cast, and that character in that world is going to be. We're looking at like 40 characters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Minimum.
It's going to be huge. It's so big. It's gargantuan. It's
literally
exactly
shot in IMAX.
the backdrop that you need for Thanos and
Right.
the Infinity Glove
Yep.
Gauntlet.
What I like is
That's
that we were played out the whole. If you think about it, the whole universe. You have the street level like Iron Fist and Luke Cage, and with Daredevil, and then you have all the way up to Thanos and universe.
And you care about all
destroying
of
it.
them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's a huge spread of the whole universe. So it's cool.
And the fact that we get something like we were tangenting from Cloak and Daggers, that's an ABC freeform show. There's not any other medium or franchise where I'd be like, it'd be good, an R-rated version on one network, a PG version on another network, a $20 million blockbuster, a $200 million blockbuster, and then, we'll also do a John Hughes movie. Marvel is every type of medium short of...
And they do animated for kids too. They cover all the bases.
And
the
Miles.
characters are
We're
everywhere.
finally getting Miles.
Yep.
And
yeah,
and
that
the
is
Miles
true.
series,
We're
yeah.
getting
so we're
animated
locking
series
in
of
Miles
Miles,
and
Movie,
Peter
excuse me.
Parker
Yeah.
simultaneously,
Yep.
different
Yeah.
mediums.
which works.
Yeah.
Totally works.
Totally works.
You can
And there's
do it.
another Spidey cartoon coming out as well that for kids specifically.
Right.
Yeah. So that you really are covering all the bases, and they all somehow tie together.
And it's beautiful. And the Spidey book, which I like more than most, we've had talks about the Spidey book.
Yes.
If you're a kid watching this show, if you're under... Actually, I love it, and I'm 28. If you're under 15 and you want to read Spidey, there's a book called Spidey that is probably going to be like the animated series, and it's a great run. It's only 12 issues. It's easy to pick up. It's a lot of fun. The art's great. Check it out. Now, Mantis confirming herself is exciting, like I said, for me because of the scope.
Yes.
It also gives us a giant implication as to how far along they are. Like
Yeah.
that's definitely going now.
Yeah.
Like it's moving and grooving. There's hats.
I know the logo's easy, but I love it so much. I love
I
Avengers
know.
A. Isn't that
Isn't that
awesome?
perfect?
It's so easy,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's so good.
Who doesn't want that hat?
Right? And they use the Infinity font from the original Infinity Gauntlet and Infinity War. Like, that's the Marvel font.
And it feels like when you read Secret War in the 80s.
Oh, man.
Like, it feels like everything built up to a thing,
Yep.
and it feels like an event
Yep.
comic, but not like a modern event comic where you're waiting and then it's delayed 18 times,
Yes.
and then you're trying to read titles panels, but some are ahead and some are no, a good event comic
Where it all came together.
where it
yes.
makes sense, and that's amazing. They did this. Like, it's a 10-year Kevin Feige.
Yeah.
Your foresight is appreciated.
So it's totally possible to fall in love with a logo because that happens.
Right.
So,
And I love the look of the Mantis character. I've always liked Mantis. I've always been a big Guardians fan, and I love in the trailer we only saw her a little bit, but the character sometimes has antenna, and I love that they didn't go subtle. They weren't like, yeah, she's an alien, she has antenna. Like, they're very animated. It seems to be like kind of part of her character. I already love it. It's a choice that they made, and I already dig it. So I can't wait to see her in the next incarnation and see what she'll be in the war. Who knows?
And it's such a weird character. Like, Mantis is not a character I read. It's not something I was like, this Mantis is gonna go places.
Yeah.
Like,
If you have a big war, you need an empath. Like, there's
Yeah.
not a lot they can do with it.
you gotta have it in your party.
And here we are.
Gotta have a tank. Gotta have an impact.
Exactly.
right. Okay, and we got a teleporting guy. Like,
Yeah.
like I've never, even starting the show 2 years ago, would have been like, I bet in 2 years we'll spend 5 minutes talking about Mantis.
Mantis.
Like,
That's who the fans
never
really want.
Yeah.
They're really lobbying for this Mantis getting her screen time.
I've said it a million times. I'm only going to say it one more time, and that's not true. I'm going to say it a million more
You're
times.
gonna say it a million more times.
Infinity
Okay.
War better be the intro of Squirrel Girl. in
I
Marvel
knew that was
Universe.
coming.
That's all I want.
I know that's all.
Doreen Green wins the thing. That's the end of the episode.
There we go.
Thanos is down, and they're like, I didn't do it. Did you do it? Cap, did you do it? Cap's dead. I don't know what happened. And then Squirrel Girl triumphant. Tippy toe on her shoulder. Roll credits.
Matt got Doctor Strange. That was fully realized. I got Deadpool making nearly $1 billion without playing in China.
I got
Black Panther has
Black
the
Panther,
best cast of
Misty
any.
Knight.
It's my
Got
turn.
both.
I mean, I got
It's your-
Guardians, to be
yeah.
fair. I'm a huge Guardians fan, too. But yeah, it's my time.
I'm just saying, like, we've got ours.
We've got ours.
And you get
Thank
your
you.
Squirrel Girl. I
you.
think it's only fair. I
The
think it's
world
time.
deserves
And then Home Life 1983. I also need a Rocket and Bucky scene in Infinity War discussing Bucky's arm.
Yes.
That'd be so
Yes,
fun.
I would love that.
That's so
Agreed.
cool.
Now our
I need your arm.
last bit of news before we get to our big Black Panther stuff is basically just a quick shot. We've got a picture of Jon Bernthal on set for Punisher. It is a very casual image, but worth noting, a beardless one. We've had many images of Jon Bernthal.
What?
Right? He has no
Wait.
beard.
Changes
No,
everything.
I got
Much
used to that
like-
manscaping.
Now, the beard was something we had for
Facial
a lot of
Yes,
the photos. There's some other
clarifying.
Punisher
I was like,
Punisher
that's
photos
what
that I
I
haven't seen.
I'm just curious. And is it in the shape of a skull?
No, yeah. Jon Bernthal made some very method choices with
Yes.
his Punisher portrayal.
Yes.
Now, so this is him not only beardless but carrying flowers.
Oh.
Now, I hope those flowers are for the lovely Karen Page. I don't know that they are. They could be going to a funeral. Because
Yeah,
of the
because
Punisher.
his expression is
Because
quite
it's the
stricken.
Punisher.
Yeah. Oh goodness. Yeah.
Always go to funeral.
Yeah, his expression is kind of stricken. He's looking out into the distance, and he's also not enjoying what he's looking
Yeah.
at.
Let's think about this for a second. Here's-
Nobody's happy.
Here's what's so great is like up until now in time, if they were like, hey, we're gonna have this action character that you really like, here's a teaser shot of them. They would have, it'd be like Schwarzenegger with 4,000 guns on his shoulders.
Yes.
But this is somehow much more intimidating. Seeing the Punisher holding flowers, I'm
Right?
like, oh, someone's gonna die.
Yeah.
And that's just a testament to Jon Bernthal.
Right? That's
With the world,
amazing.
you're like, no, I'm scared.
Yes, this is infinitely scarier than seeing him in a weapons depot.
Oh,
this is
100%.
someone's in much more trouble in this shot.
And what's funny is
And in
the
the
last
daylight.
shot, this doesn't give anything away for spoilers for Daredevil Season 2. The last shot is him carrying like a truck artillery
Yes.
gun with the Punisher chest.
Yes.
And you have to earn it the whole season. You wait for that moment. You
Right.
know it's coming. And then that last shot, you're like, oh, he's Punisher out.
Yes.
This is just as much.
I agree. This is scarier to me.
Because that's like Punisher animated, like Spider-Man animated series with the Punisher, like
Yes,
with his band,
with his
his
glue
silly
gun,
voice,
yeah.
and his like blue
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
That was like as much as we'd gotten.
Yeah.
And we'd had a bunch of movies and stuff, but I mean, as far
Yeah.
as long form,
Right.
this is the Punisher by way of flowers.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stoked. Jon Bernthal is, I'd say, up there with Heath Joker and the great performances of a character, because it's a role that I didn't know I could care about as much, and it's a character being portrayed in a way that's more sympathetic than I ever imagined.
Yes, I like that they want to go with the layers with it. It isn't just bang, bang, bang. I'm a good guy, but I'm a bad guy, so I'm your anti-hero. Here we
Right,
go.
right. It's
no,
not
it's
something
like vulnerability.
Yes.
You
And
know,
that's
having
amazing.
that. Yeah.
Because they could have gone like,
because then you can relate.
right.
It's like, okay, you know what? maybe I would do this too.
And
Like, maybe
he wouldn't
I
have gotten
would.
his own show if it wasn't that nuance. If
Yes.
he wouldn't have, John Bernthal wouldn't have a Punisher Netflix series because that wasn't established before.
never a plan.
Because it could have been a guy playing him as a crazy, gun
Yeah.
zealot that has only one directive. He played him with more layers than arguably anyone else. And that to me is why he got his own show. And that's why
Are
we're talking
you
about
daring to
Flowers.
say he was better than Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher?
I am a
Coy.
Tom Jane, big Tom
Thomas
Jane
Jane was a
Punisher fan.
fantastic
That was a
Punisher,
great
actually,
run.
yeah.
And I like the Ray Winstone one as well.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that was incredibly directed, and I want her to direct some Marvel stuff personally.
Agreed.
Because she's fantastic. Now, we have to talk about... Actually, you know what? First, we'll go to our minute, our Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. minute.
Oh, before?
That way
Okay.
we can have a good run of Black Panther, because there's a lot
Oh,
of...
don't forget Spider-Man Homecoming.
How did I
How
do that?
did you forget
But
that?
where? But where?
Spider-Man Homecoming toys possibly reveal earlier suits in
I,
film.
I'd forgotten about those
and then we
toys.
can do the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. minute.
I do like that. Now, Spider-Man is the most important
Spider-Man.
person on the planet. I watched pieces of Tom Holland's what's it called recently? The one where he's in the island, that terrifying movie with the Naomi Watts and the Ewan McGregor.
I want to help you, but I don't know what we're
Yeah,
talking
I
about.
don't
I'm
know
so
There's a
what-
sorry.
tsunami movie that's incredible.
Okay.
That was up for a bunch of Oscars, and Tom Holland's like 11 in it, and he's like
Oh.
out acting Ewan McGregor and Naomi
Oh,
Watts.
wait. I think I know. I saw
The
that.
Impossible, maybe.
I'm not
I
familiar. I'm
don't
sorry.
remember the title of it, but I did see it.
A fan tweeted me a
Had a
screenshot.
lasting impression.
I saw this movie.
I saw these moments. A fan tweeted me a screenshot of it, and I was like, I haven't thought of that movie in some time. So I just watched some YouTube clips, and Tom Holland was out acting his eyeballs out, and
Yeah.
that's in a movie that he was like a child in. Tom Holland is now Spider-Man, and that is my tangent onto these toys. Basically, the toys reveal that the costume he made himself is just as fantastic as the 60s Japanese Spider-Man.
Yes! Oh my god, yes, Dan Cougar.
That to
Perfect.
me is that like level of they went there,
Yeah.
which makes sense. The biggest caveat a lot of people had, like the biggest qualm, was that how was Tobey Maguire sewing that spandex?
Yeah.
How did he make that 3D
Yeah.
print? None of that makes sense. This
And then
makes
Tony
sense.
came in. And we saw this costume very briefly in Civil War when Tony revealed it in his
Right.
room, and we saw that quick video clip. This looks perfect. This looks exactly like it was, and yeah, this is a kid making a superhero costume.
Yeah.
And also, we're in the Marvel universe where all the costumes are actual material, like
Yeah.
the
Right.
Infinity Scarf, like
Yeah.
Yes.
actual things.
Yeah.
This works.
They,
Whereas,
they exist in the world that are attainable for these characters at that time to get.
and in that specific corner of their universe.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because the spandex doesn't make sense next to Iron Man, and
No.
and in the visual of the last Captain America, we saw the dichotomy of calling them underoos. They called it out. They made it a thing. And then in the newest trailer, we had that moment where we realized those like snap the spandex on. Like,
Right.
those are basically elastics to tighten everything up because it's Tony Stark.
Yeah.
This is as close as I think you could get with the regular wardrobe
Yes.
choices.
And even better, I believe that a kid in the current Marvel universe seeing real superheroes on television would then create this. This
If he
would be
had powers.
his
It's
reaction
completely
to that.
believable.
Yeah.
And there's not a part of me that doesn't go, man, Scarlet Spider's great. Because
It's the hood.
That's the Scarlet Spider hoodie.
That's the Scarlet Spider
Inverted
hoodie,
colors,
yep.
you guys. And I am one of the few, the proud, the Ben Reilly fans.
Yep.
I know. I'm talking about the Clone War in a positive way. The Clone
Whoa,
Saga.
let's go over to James. Let's have a genre discussion here.
Down on the couch, Ben Reilly, great character or greatest character?
Those are your only choices.
Oh, that was horrible.
Thank
All
you.
together.
Thank you, James.
Can't believe they did that.
It was a slow burn. It was a great reveal. The issue of Norman Osborn killing Ben Reilly and he dissolves and you finally know for real that Peter Parker is the one true Peter Parker. Wept.
I think it depends on your era of comics. You came into Spider-Man probably during the Clone Wars, right? Or during the Clone Saga.
The episode issue like 149, 150 was in the 70s when it was introduced the idea of the
I'm
original
aware
clone.
of when the clones started, Coy.
I'm
I'm
just
saying when
saying
you as a
that-
young reader with your amazing father who got you into comic books, props.
Who read the original in the 70s probably,
So
that run.
I came into comics with Secret Wars, so I had a pretty cool, like, I got everyone at once. I got
Right.
one
Okay.
shot,
That's
every
cool.
hero. So your time period for being a young boy reading comics was probably the Clone Saga, right?
Admittedly, I started buying comics
Yeah.
with Ben Reilly.
Okay,
So,
so that's
I
what I'm
can't
saying. You
deny
started
there's
with
an
that.
association. Like,
Yeah.
That was a little before that.
It was, but I mean, I'm buying them to collect. I was buying like individual issues. I was reading them, but I was like hoarding Ben Reilly era. Like I started
Yeah.
going like, I need Web of Spectacular, Sensational, Amazing, and Peter Parker, and I'd be spending 100% of my allowance at that point.
Yeah, I love this,
It's
by
why
the
I can't
way.
have nice things.
Yeah. it's
Yeah,
just-
do you, I mean, do you, because you made another hoarder is what happened.
To be fair, they're watching over my 33 long boxes in Georgia.
Lord.
So
Does your family, like, are they into comics or anything nerdy? Like, my dad has vowed to never help me move again because of long boxes specifically.
Well, I got a Luke Cage and Black Panther, and that was like through my mom.
Yeah?
Actually, like a lot of things have been through my mom.
That's
like
super cool.
my love for space, that's like through mom.
Yeah?
Star Trek Next Generation. Well, Star Trek original
Right.
was through mom, and I
Yeah.
got her involved with like Next
Next Gen,
Generation.
yeah.
So yeah, it's been mainly with her. I guess my dad was just like too cool.
Right, right.
He was basketball team and
Yeah.
like jock kind of a
My
guy.
dad's the same. Yeah, he was like
but
baseball
my
guy,
mom
football
was,
guy. It was
yeah,
just like
my mom would strike out at kickball. So
Yeah. I still remember like I want to say 14th, 15th Christmas, or when I was 14, 15 years old, my dad bought me a Wolverine comic, one of the Frank Miller ones, for Christmas, because at that point he finally realized like he's probably going to keep liking these things. He's a teenager now. He likes girls, but he still likes comic books. He just accepted it. And I still have that issue. That was still like moving to me that my dad finally was like, all right, you're a freaking nerd. He got me the thing. My dad's an
He's like,
amazing
"Here."
person, by the way. He's not like a
Yeah,
mean jock.
no.
He's a great guy. But like,
Yeah.
so viewers, I mean, do you have like cool parents that are into this stuff? Like very lucky Coy and his
I got
cool dad who
multi-generational,
raised him on comic books?
it was very convenient, and that did allow
Yeah.
for the Scarlet Spider timing, admittedly.
Yeah,
Now,
so that's your Spidey.
I need to clarify.
Yeah.
I don't think the Clone Wars was an overall good story or perfect
Right.
story. I think that it had really good elements that, because it started selling well, they stretched out.
Right. I read
It-
Power Pack. I
Right.
mean, I'm not judging,
problem
but we
was-
can all agree it's bad.
It had good elements because it got rewritten many times because there were so many
Yes.
writers and they wanted to extend it because it was selling. It's not, what I'm saying is it's not the Clone Wars' fault. It's not its fault the way it went. And that one issue,
No.
John Romita Jr. era Spider-Man is my Spider-Man. It's good.
All right.
So,
oh, he doth protest too much.
Right? Right?
you know what?
So, Juliana, you could have like a bigger room if not for his comics at this point, right? Like you'd have more house space in general.
It's a fairly substantial space.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. You could have your own craft room or something, but
I mean, we do.
okay. You
Or
still
Or
got
like an
okay.
armory. You
Now,
could have an armory.
So who's your superhero? If I defend Ben Reilly, who do you have to defend to your friends? Like, ooh.
Well, my friends aren't really into
Right.
comics at all. I'm like the nerdiest one. They're all like alternative. They
Right.
got gauges and tattoos. No.
We like you.
Yeah, no, you're
Yeah.
here for a reason. They're not.
Do you read any books right now? Are you reading any comics right now?
No.
Okay.
No.
So my dad was a big Claremont X-Men. Arguably, I
Good
think
man.
X-Men from Phoenix through.
Yeah, that's when I started collecting.
Yeah, so I started reading before I started buying my own that
Right.
era of X-Men. So X-Men have a soft spot in my heart.
Yes.
Oh, well,
for that
yeah.
timing. Yeah, I mean that's what a great time to discover the
Yes,
X-Men.
and you started with Old Black Panther.
Yeah.
I have often stated that I think that our vocabularies are based on like Chris Claremont writing and stuff like
Yeah.
those because all those comics, you got a lot for your buck. It was more.
Yes.
It was so much to chew on. It was just words after words after words and words that I had to look up most of the time. Claremont was using some bizarre words I had never heard of in my life that I had to see what the heck that uncanny being the first one. It's like, what the heck does uncanny mean? So I think that we as adults now, I think that our vocabularies really were built by those comics at the time. I feel that way.
I agree.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
'Cause
Yeah,
I
I
was
was
super
a
young.
big time reader. Well, not just comic books,
Of
like
course, same,
everything
yeah.
in general.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
while I like the style now, like Brian Michael Bendis and stuff will write people like normal human beings. I
Right.
prefer that now. It's weird to go back and read the old Claremont stuff. It seems silly, but
Yeah.
I also attribute it to a lot of
It's like, how dare you, villain?
my speech.
Yeah, exclamation points that always
Yeah.
seem like they're like about to raise up. Like
Right.
everyone, Magneto's always posturing.
Always. But that's cool. James, props to you again for encouraging that and making another addict.
It's why
You guys keep it going too.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm getting the
there
next
you go.
generation hooked. You get a free taste and then it's on you. But that's where that's where it all starts. But I've been reading comics for like 24 years now, thanks to my dad.
Yeah.
So it has gotten me to be a Scarlet Spider fan. Now I think the comic image here of this toy is a great. Spider-Man to me wears a backpack a lot. Like, that's a thing. And to see a Spider-Man toy in a backpack is so cool because it shows his youth. It shows that he's in high school. A backpack, to me, symbolizes how many problems Peter Parker has. Like, he's carrying the weight of the world on
Yep.
his shosters, and there's two straps.
His baggage.
Yeah, he's got
His baggage, yes, and you can literally
Yeah.
see it.
Yeah, so this toy shouldn't be as exciting, and I'm so glad Markia reminded me about the toys because I was like, oh yeah, moving on. Oh wait, there's a backpack toy?
I think it says a lot about the environment that he's in too. Like whenever they have in movies where he like hides his stuff behind a dumpster, I'm like, that's not going to be there
Yeah.
when you get
Bro,
back.
you're in New
You're
York.
in New York.
Even on a roof,
you better
that's
carry that
gone.
with you.
Yeah.
Someone will still steal that.
And then the wet backpack when someone does steal the backpack. Like,
Yeah.
there's just so much.
Ron May's hat.
Yeah, or the plastic bag, the Fantastic Four outfit when he had to swing by the Baxter building because his stuff got stolen. That's all Spider-Man. And this is a toy of that, which means they listened, they know what the fans want. The John Hughes Spider-Man type movie would have a backpack. It shouldn't be as exciting, but a backpack on a toy is already more exciting than most of the stuff we had in the 2000s for anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
So do we have any more toy? I think we have a Vulture. Is he in the docket of the pictures?
Anthony?
I saw
I mean,
him.
Anthony.
Anthony.
No Vulture?
Anthony.
I thought I saw that.
Okay. There also is in the world a Vulture toy, which doesn't reveal as much, which is probably why it's not in the rundown. It's just knowing that Michael Keaton is the Vulture and apparently quoted Batman on set. Have you guys heard about this?
Oh my goodness,
So
no.
anytime...
What did he do?
So I read this interview this morning, actually, so it might have just come out. Tom Holland said anytime he'd accidentally land a punch on Michael Keaton, he'd apologize, like, oh no, I'm sorry, and he'd be like, it's okay, I'm Batman.
Oh no! I love that.
So constantly just imagine Michael Keaton fighting Spider-Man, because that's not Tom Holland, it's masked up Spider-Man, and then going, it's okay, I'm Batman. What world are we living in?
That is
How did we
fantastic.
get this? How have we been
We don't
gifted
deserve this,
glory
but
that
we have
Michael
it.
Keaton is
Man.
self-aware enough to reference I'm Batman in a Vulture suit?
That is fantastic.
What happened? So somehow the worlds collided. That happened.
Yes.
I'm excited.
And the toy I saw earlier, it's nothing new. We've seen the trailer. We've seen what Vulture looks like. I love that some costume designer was like, "What does Vulture look like?" Okay, we're not doing that. But the takeaway was like, he's got a
We'll make it work.
Yeah, they're like he's got
We'll
a
keep the
furry neck,
boots.
and they're like furry neck. Okay, so like a flight jacket. Okay, I can do that.
And he
it looks
flies?
awesome. Yeah, right?
you go.
That was such a great adjustment. As soon as I saw the suit, I'm like, yep.
It was
there
one
it
of
is.
those suits where I was like, how did I not think of that? How did no one think of that?
Yeah.
How has he not been interpreted like this before?
Yes.
Like, it was like Ultimate Edition, he was still the
He
weird,
was
like, why was he
a creepy
feathery?
old man, yeah.
Right.
And all of a sudden they're like, oh no, but flying flight jacket. Oh, it's right there?
Yeah,
Yes.
he's wearing a flight jacket.
It's
So
like
good.
made for us.
And the talons?
It's so easy. They look so cool. Those
So-
boots,
I love
those kiss
those.
boots.
Ooh.
So I'm
I wish I
excited.
could.
Yeah, kiss boots are great. Yeah. I think that is all of our magic of Spider-Man. So I want to just give the floor to Markia about
Oh well,
her.
we have to do Agents of
We
Shield
do,
minute
we do.
first.
We should give it to Zach.
Yeah.
Zach, the voice of Doom, is not with us. He's alive. He's not with us here anymore. But we are going to keep having his passion for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. carry on. We have Zach Wilson's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. minute. Dramatic pause.
Hey guys, time for Doom's Shield Minute. Last week's episode was okay. It was a little bit predictable. I like that we are getting true evil and like real bad guys from both Radcliffe and the Senator, Senator Nadir. We got Daisy and Quake on trial. That was the best part of the episode. The May storyline was like just we knew what was going to happen from the previous episode. But I really like where they're going with Daisy and the fact that S.H.I.E.L.D. is being outed and portrayed as the bad guy again. We still are in that territory of like, okay, so wait. So they captured Coulson. Everybody knows that Phil Coulson is out there. But Tony Stark doesn't? Question mark? That's that weird thing about S.H.I.E.L.D. But this week we got Agent Koenig's back. I'm so excited to see what they do with the Darkhold, and we're going to be talking about it all night tonight on AfterBuzz TV. Check it out there. Oh my God, running out of time. 3, 2, 1, out of time.
He's
Whoa.
punctual.
He is. He's got it.
Yeah.
I like the idea of just a stopwatch and a Doom mask. Like he's watching his own eyes. Like, I must do this. I am Doom.
Yeah, we kind of ribbed him a bit when he would have like 3 to 5 minutes. Like it's
true
a
of
minute of Agents
the
Shield,
Doom
but it's
minute
like
would be like-
the Doom minute.
Yeah.
Because you just get into it, man.
Because it's
I get it.
Doom.
Doom does not
Yeah,
accept your standard
I totally
measures
get
of
that.
time.
I had
Yeah,
a
there you
Spider-Man
go.
backpack minute. I get it. Like, I get carried away. There's no stopping it. It's just we are living in the best possible society for comic fans as far as the films are concerned. Like, we
Yeah.
did a thing that I never thought possible. We had a guy say, I'm Batman on a Spider-Man set to Tom Holland in a Vulture suit.
There
That
you
shouldn't be
go.
a sentence. Now, speaking of a thing we should have had long ago, and I think the first film to get Oscar notice, Black
Oh
Panther.
man, yes. Black Panther. Well, the full cast has been revealed. Found a lovely picture online where it has like the half faces of just about everybody
Whoever
in the
made
cast.
this, thank you.
Yeah, I think I found it on MCU Universe on Facebook. I believe they posted it. But yeah, so quick rundown for it. Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, as T'Challa. We have Michael B. Jordan as Eric Killmonger. He's going to be one of the 2 major villains.
Seen the pictures of him, like, prepping? Like him working
Yes.
out? Looking yoked.
Oh my God. He
Dude's
looks.
tanked. 'Cause Killmonger's
He's
a big
ripped.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a little worried.
But he's smart.
Right.
He's smart and he's quick as a whip too. So Michael B. Jordan's gonna he's gonna be Ben Foster in that role.
Yeah, yeah, he is.
Lupita Nyong'o. I always pronounce people's names wrong. Nyong'o. She's Nakia. That's T'Challa's personal guard, part of the Dora Milaje. We have Denai Guerrera. You know her as Michonne from Walking Dead. She's Okoye, which is leader of the Dora Milaje. Martin Freeman's in there. Everett Ross. I believe that he's like the liaison between like the FBI or Shield
he's
along
back.
with.
We got him in Civil War, I want to say. That's where he first showed up.
Yeah,
Or
we
was it an
did.
Iron Man movie? I think it was Civil War.
I think it was
yeah.
Civil War.
Yeah.
We had him. So he's like, the liaison between Wakanda and everybody else in the government. We have Daniel Kaluuya. He's from Get Out, Sicario. Sicario. Yeah.
Sicario?
Thank you. And then, of course, we have Angela Bassett.
Yes.
We have Angela Bassett.
Yes.
She's Ramonda. That's the mother of T'Challa. You know her from American Horror Story, London Has Fallen, What's Love Got to Do with It?
Should have been Storm.
Should have been Storm. Can you imagine the 90s?
They waited too long.
But
They waited
she's
too long,
Storm.
but she's Storm.
Yeah.
They waited too.
Every Wizard
We
magazine.
need a Storm solo movie. I'm just.
Oh, yeah.
I would
With
love.
Angela Bassett.
That'd be great. Like she's
Oh my
already
God,
been
she'd be
Queen, She's already
amazing.
married Black Panther.
Yeah.
She's like had the highs and lows of being the goddess of.
Just make it T'Chaka
So
that
it's more of a commentary
Man.
on like what it means to feel mortal while being a god.
Yeah.
Oh,
Whoa.
That's the movie I'd
That could
make.
actually work. Just make that she was married to T'Chaka,
T'Challa.
not T'Challa.
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka.
So
Yeah,
she-
So
he
saying
died
that
in
was-
Civil War.
right,
If you're wondering who that
T'Chaka
is.
did.
Right, so you
Yeah.
have that commentary, you have her already be royal, and then
Yeah.
you have her worshipped as a god, and it's her dealing with the ramifications of that, and have like basically like a Helen Mirren's the Queen, but with Storm.
It's their Logan.
It's their Logan. Sorry, I got
That is-
excited.
I totally
got
sidetracked
carried
you. I
away.
apologize.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I was trying to find we have Forrest Whitaker, but I couldn't remember who his character was in there. So if chat room, Zuri, yeah, he's Zuri. So that's an older type of kind of like a coach type of character, but coach isn't really the right word. Mentor. It would be closer to it. So that would be that character. And then there's like additional cast members. There's Letitia Wright, from Urban Hem, Glasgow Girls. She's also part of the Doctor Who universe. She was in the Raven episode. That's probably not the title, but if you're a Doctor Who person, you know what I mean about The Raven Cometh. Winston Duke, you know him from Person of Interest, Modern Family. We have Florence Kasamba. You know her from Civil War, Emerald City also. We have Sterling K. Brown. You know him from This Is Us, The People versus O.J. Simpson, Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. He's amazing.
Yes, he
and
is.
we have him for Black Panther. Have John Connie. You know him from Civil War and Coriolanus. I'm not familiar with that.
Coriolanus is a great Shakespearean epic with, I do believe, Ralph Fiennes, and it's full Shakespeare but set modern, and it's whew.
I'm even more excited now for Florence Kasumba, who I didn't really know much of before. She was in Civil War as his. I always get this wrong. Can you say it for me? Dora
Milaje.
Yeah, that character.
Dora Milaje.
Dora
So
Milaje.
So we saw in
she was the
Civil
one
War.
that stepped
Yes.
up to
Black
Widow,
Widow, wasn't it? Yes.
She
and
had like two lines, and I was
Yeah.
like, everything about
Yes.
that character. is
T'Challa was
important.
like, as interesting as this would be.
Yes. And I don't know if you've seen even the billboards of the show, but the show that's out right now, Tarzan Singe's, Emerald City, which I'm really enjoying. It's a really very pretty show, but she is the lead. She is actually the Wicked Witch of the East in it, and is amazing. So I'm even more excited for her character in this movie now.
Man, okay, getting a couple of questions in chat roll for this. Who's playing T'Challa's sister? I thought, which is Shuri, who is amazing. If you don't know Shuri, you need to know Shuri. She's always wanted to be Black Panther, like the Queen of Wakanda, and she actually does accomplish that fact. This is not a spoiler because these comics are so old. But
That's
I do,
fair.
yeah. And I'm just saying what I know from like comic storyline. I do not know what they're going to do in the movie itself. But Shuri, I keep on thinking that they're going to have Letitia Wright for that. I do not know that. I'm not confirming that, but I think that she would be a really good. She's the right age to be able, and she's got the fierceness that you could have with Shuri. So, and thank you, Gamer Girl. It's Face the Raven that you can actually see her in that. If you, and that's I think they have that on Netflix. I'm not sure. Okay, but yeah, production has started for, and there are pictures on the internet with it, and they're currently filming in Atlanta. They'll also be filming in South Africa. And we do have a new synopsis of Black Panther. And bear with me, I'm just going to read this off. Black Panther follows T'Challa, who, after the events of Captain America Civil War, returns home to the isolated, technologically advanced African nation of Wakanda to take his place as king. However, when an old enemy reappears on the radar, T'Challa's mettle as king and Black Panther is tested when he is drawn into a conflict that puts the entire fate of Wakanda and the world at risk.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And there was that, I don't know if you saw that, guys, there was that leaked like page of script, and it's not a spoiler, but it was a scene between Killmonger and Black Panther, and like Black Panther's like hanging off of something, and Killmonger's holding him, and he leans in really close and he says, "I killed T'Chaka," and then he drops him. That's not true. That was the Lion King. That was Lion King.
I got it.
I totally.
It works.
I can't believe you paid for. I
so
can't
in.
believe you
I'm
fell
like,
for that.
But what if Black Panther
cannot
gets
believe you
everything
just
the
fell
light
for that.
touches?
That was
What if
so
he gets
bad.
it? I want to know.
Wow.
Sign me up.
But I mean, I already see similarities, right?
I want that to happen. That's a great storyline. Now,
You totally. There were listeners like, "Oh, you're spoiling the movie."
no. I'm waiting for Rafiki to come into Black Panther now. Way to do that to me.
Oh, nice.
Andy Serkis is Rafiki because of the mocap and his ape experience.
Yeah, and Andy
It's
Serkis.
obvious.
Yeah, Andy Serkis's Claw.
Yeah,
That
poor
wasn't in the
Rafiki.
list.
Confirmed. Oh yeah, is Claw back? I'm assuming he is.
Yeah, I mean, even like Lapita even said a thing where it's like, oh, it's all about two major foes like in his past life bond together, and he has to fight them. Like she has a quote where she says that. So I'm thinking Killmonger and Claw.
99% chance of no gray putties, which is exciting. Because if we get both Killmonger and Claw, we don't need any third act space holes.
Right.
Which is exciting. I think Black
Right.
Panther's going to be very grounded, very brutal,
Yeah.
very diplomatic. The Black Panther comic right now is a CNN
Oh,
episode.
man, absolutely.
It is super
Yeah.
intense and political, and the new synopsis yields credence to the idea that this is going to be political, world ramifications, political fight.
Yeah.
It's going to be here, not like space holes.
Yes.
I'm done with space
Yes.
holes.
Yeah,
I think we
you
all
know.
are.
Yeah. And as
yeah.
a reminder on Claw, we saw him in the second Avengers movie. Yeah, it was Age of Ultron. And he was just it was Andy Serkis just kind of being a jerk guy. He didn't really have anything going on, but he will remember he got his arm cut off, and that will play into his character and his super villainy. I don't know how they'll do it exactly yet. I mean, we know the character Claw from comics, but I'm very curious what that will look like. In the
Water
Marvel
hand,
universe.
long blonde hair,
What?
green scaly pants.
What?
Aquaman reference.
Oh,
See, my joke made sense.
I went to the 90s too.
See,
but
my
I
joke
went-
made sense.
Yeah, you know, touche.
went to the 90s.
You know. So Black Panther's gonna be great.
Yes.
Even if this cast just sits around and reads the dictionary, I'll be like, that's
Yep.
it. I am curious what acquitted means at its third definition. T'Challa, tell me more.
I'm sorry, Andy Serkis is right up there, and I was like, is he in the movie?
Yeah.
I'm
There
so
he is.
excited. Do we have anything else about Black Panther that we? Do we have any fan questions about Black Panther? That's not a character that's very well known. So
Yeah.
while we tangent into questions, I would say a good place to start is with Black Panther, because I want to hear from you guys. Anyone in the live chat, anyone tweeting, anyone anywhere.
I have one more waiting if you don't have one yet, and that is I'd like to know about the ring. In Civil War, we saw his ring, which I'm assuming is made of vibranium, had reactions to things.
Yes,
They
we did see
played
that.
out a thing that something's going on with his ring that either gives him powers, and it was passed to him by his father, by the way. T'Chaka gave it to him after the death. So that means something. I don't know what it is, because he clearly has his suit and his claws and all that stuff, and I don't know if the ring, I don't know if it's like the
Interesting.
Flash's costume where it comes out of the ring and he puts it on. I don't think they did that in the Flash TV show, by the way. It's from the comics. So I'm very curious. I thought they'd pay it off in Civil War, and they never did.
Right.
My thought was that it reacts to vibranium, and if there's other vibranium in the room, it reacts, and that has something to do with maybe the bomb that took everyone out or something. That was my theory. I have no idea, but at least twice they had him like vibrating strangely next to something, and you're like, what does that mean? And they haven't played on it, so I have to guess that'll come into the.
And I like that they're
like that.
planting seeds that are so like, what? And then they can call
Yeah.
back to it in another movie because they trust their audience is going to watch every single thing.
Yes.
Like that movie felt independent. It felt
Yes.
like its own movie.
Yes.
But it also, you could see the seeds. It was the anti-Age of Ultron for me.
Yes.
It wasn't setting up. It was set up.
Agreed. And the fact that I guess the fact that they never paid that off tells me that there may be the concept of his dad being killed in an explosion planted by Bucky because of Baron Zemo may not be quite that simple.
There's more.
And there's more political intrigue that put his father in that room.
Someone in
That's
the
what I'm
live chat
guessing.
said
That's nice.
it's the synopsis sounds like a political thriller. Xeno Hour said the synopsis sounds like a political thriller. I
Absolutely.
agree.
Yes,
but
it sounds like a good. Yes,
You both clarified.
Hold on, let me-
Political, but I'll stay away.
Asterisks.
but
Yeah.
a good one.
Like a Harrison Ford political thriller.
Yes.
Remember
Yeah.
the 90s when Harrison Ford
Oh
was
my
just
God, he was doing.
political?
He was
all
like
the Tom
cranking
Clancy
them
stuff.
out.
Yeah, it was great. And you were
It was
always
really
excited
good.
for his Jack Ryan.
Yes. was
and
a
then for
time
some
of
reason
Clancy.
Jack Ryan did not stay Jack Ryan.
Yeah.
But that type of movie with Black Panther is another genre, like we always want. And
Yes.
it's the right genre for the character.
Yes, and like you were saying before with like it being Oscar worthy, it's like it is. I think because we have Logan coming out this year and Logan's going to be gritty, it's going to be real, and it's going to be real relatable. Because I know how you feel about like Deadpool not.
So relatable.
Yeah, but Deadpool not getting the awards recognition.
pretty
That
bummed.
yeah,
But
I
I'd
think
argue-
Logan's going to do that bridge. So then Black Panther is going to like demolish it when it comes out in 2018.
I think what's happening is change takes erosion, you know? It takes time to chip away.
Yeah.
I think Heath Ledger getting the Joker post-mortem was the first, like, okay, we should start at least paying attention. That was one of the best performances I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think then Deadpool getting the Golden Globe nominations, the WGA, that was like, oh, other people should notice, not just the actors. There's an entire team of brilliance here.
Yeah.
And I think that was another little chip. I think Logan is going to be the breakthrough of this is now, pay attention, this is credible, this is brilliant, and then I think Black Panther is going to be the actual, it's happened, here's some gold statues.
Yeah.
That's my theory timeline-wise. I think we're just slowly chipping away. Like, we had to get the silly costumes of the X-Men
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
get to the point where we are now. Like, we had
Yeah.
to get through the black leather phase to get where we are now.
Right.
So I think the Black Panther is going to be the first one that's on the right side
Yes.
of the gold statue.
Yeah,
I think
I
you're
think so
both
too.
being very optimistic about Logan, but that's just me.
It looks so good!
It looks gritty and
go over to
fantastic. I think
James.
they're going to go
James.
super old man Logan.
What do you
James,
think?
James,
What
you're a
do you
fellow
think?
adult.
So on the
And
couch.
Julianne, Julianne, what do you
Let's
think?
talk about Logan.
Julianne,
What do
two
you guys think?
ends.
Yes, please.
What do you think?
It looks awesome.
Thank you!
But I don't think it's going to win gold. No.
I think it's going to get noticed.
No, I think it's just going to be part of that bridge
I would
to,
agree.
to make
And
Black
I think
Panther
that was his
happen.
point,
Chip it
but-
Yeah.
away. Chip it away.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
looks-
going to get nominations.
No.
I don't think it's going to go the way of even Deadpool did. I think it's going to be another fine addition. I think it'll be the best of the 3 Wolverine films.
I would agree. I also think,
Kinda have to
however,
be.
that it may be too gritty for a lot of audience. So,
Oh.
and some people may not tie it into the X-Men at all, because at least from the preview that I saw, yes, you have Xavier, it's pretty clear Logan, but if you don't know who Logan is, I mean, his beard covers, his face enough that everyone wants to see.
Hugh Jackman.
They
Jackman.
won't make toys.
Which
I don't
love.
think they're making action figures.
And
of
that's
this.
I
so
don't think they
bold. Like, they literally went anti-Star Wars. They're
Yes.
like, what
Different
if we do
audience.
this for the right audience, not for
Right.
toys?
Yeah. Julian, have you seen any of the trailers for Logan? or-
Honestly, I haven't.
Not
No.
only
Yeah.
toys.
I don't know, honestly.
For, yeah, I
Yeah,
thought I
that's
showed
fine.
you.
Yeah.
No.
Is that with Lucas?
Oh, maybe.
That
I
was
thought I
with
showed
Lucas,
you. Okay.
not me.
My little brother Lucas and I are very excited for Logan. Very excited.
Okay.
I think...
It looks
sorry.
cool. It
Yeah.
looks like Logan.
No, like in
Yeah.
the chat room, I wonder how M'Baku, aka Manape, will be a player in this. He's part of the White
Oh.
Gorilla cult.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like with this being a political thriller, White Gorilla cult. They are. I'm trying to liken it to our current political state, and I don't want to think about that.
yeah,
So,
right. Good luck.
just they were like banned, and it's like because their whole thing is that they would actually eat the white gorillas to like like get their strength, get their power with the white gorilla god and everything. So they were kind of banned. It's like those animals are like endangered, dude, don't do that kind of a thing. But yeah, M'Baku would probably be like white gorilla cult, maybe thrown into their
Yeah. In the original comics, he was, he's silly looking. He was like any of those like
Yeah.
animal characters. He was like, I'm Razorback. I'm wearing a big pig head. And Manape was exactly that. He was literally a guy in a big monkey costume. But the actual concept of a man, a tribal man covered in a dead monkey,
He's huge.
is horrifying.
Yeah.
If done
He's
right, he would
strong.
be a really scary bad guy.
Agreed. And
Yeah.
I think they will go the right direction. Like, I feel like the costumes are going to be like a nod to us, but not like,
right.
a guy in a gorilla suit. Unless
Yes.
it's a skinned gorilla, which
That's
would be
what I'm
terrifying.
saying.
But
That's
they can
is
make both work.
super scary.
Pretty
I
horrifying.
would not mess with a guy who looked like Khal Drogo, basically.
Yeah.
He's going to just be wearing his
flesh
fallen
of a
enemies.
beast.
Yeah.
Which is why Kraven could work.
Man.
Oh, totally.
I think, yeah. I saw it in the live chat since we're on to the question section.
Yeah.
Fan casted Namor.
Oh.
I have a giant. Okay, first one because I think
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. Everything.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves, everything. Silver Surfer. Keanu Reeves.
Daniel Day Kim.
Oh.
I think he's
like
got like
that.
the regalness. He's got a certain
Oh.
attitude. He's got like I don't want to necessarily talk to him because he seems standoffish, but this guy is awesome.
Yeah.
I think Daniel Day Kim is very good. I also
Cool.
think Colin Farrell's great, man. Like I loved Colin Farrell in Fantastic Beasts. I think he played the villain well. I think he was impossibly likable while being villainous. And I think Namor walks that line. You don't want to necessarily like Namor. And Colin Farrell has that presence. So those are my two, I think.
Gamer Girl called it. She's like, he's going to say Daniel Day-Kim.
And yes, nicely done. That's
Yeah, you know what? My answer doesn't count, but really, when I think Namor, Benedict Cumberbatch, like, he's so snarky, and you want to punch him in the mouth, but you also have to respect him. I know he's already Doctor Strange, but if I had to cast Namor, it'd be a ripped Benedict Cumberbatch.
Do you see?
Khan go in there too.
What do you think, James?
You got Khan go in there too.
Khan, yeah, exactly. Like he played, like his character Khan in Star Trek. Yeah, that's Namor to me. Like Benedict Cumberbatch. When I think of his stupid face, Namor's stupid face, then I think of Benedict Cumberbatch like
Odd
snarking.
looking, so yeah, you can almost see.
But
Yeah.
Sue Storm is like toying with leaving Mr. Fantastic
I
for
know, it's
Benedict
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
Cumberbatch,
And
yeah.
he does have a giant
He'd
liquor
have to be
Sherlock.
super jacked though.
Yeah,
James, who would you cast as Namor? Anyone come to mind?
I actually think the guy they I don't remember his name. Who does Superman?
Oh yeah, the new ones.
Henry
Tom
Cavill.
Better look, I think.
Henry Cavill would be good.
Henry
He
Cavill
looks
would
like
be
he could
good.
Play very arrogant, which
Yeah.
almost comes across a little bit within the Superman, but
Wait, that's actually part of my problem with his casting.
yeah, exactly. He's not
That'd be
open
a cool
enough, open
twist.
enough look.
He's not like meager and like Clark Kenny enough ever. So I agree.
Well, I just mean by visual, not.
No, I love that idea. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. He's
Man
got the
from
chops for
Uncle,
it too.
Man from Uncle.
Yeah.
Henry Cavill is very Namor-like. He's very pretentious and like I'm the
Yeah.
best.
That's interesting.
in
I
the,
like that.
In the
It's
chat room, we
Hereditary, by
got
the way,
Zachary
casting.
Quinto.
Oh
by Wimpy
man,
Taters.
Quinto's pretty good.
Yeah, Quinto's a good
Yeah.
one.
I kind of want to punch his face too. Yeah. But I also know he's not to be messed
Jackson
with.
punch
Yeah, the
faceless.
punchability. And I love Benedict Cumberbatch, but like, you gotta want to punch him.
Yeah,
okay.
he's got some DB going on there.
Yeah.
See,
you
I
know,
definitely
it's
see
just
it a little
like,
bit,
eh,
a little bit.
just a little bit.
Do we have any other
Some
questions from
TV.
throughout the? Did you get any earlier that I missed?
Well, I've got questions that are besides. What other cameos do you think will be in Black Panther? That was Crash Davis in the chat room earlier. Other cameos. Well, they've got a lot that they can work with it. I
Yeah.
think they've got just about everything covered. I mean, I think the
got a
only
cast
thing,
list. Who's
the only
left?
thing
Yeah,
where
we have those
it's like we're still waiting for Morgan Freeman to show up. I mean,
Because
something.
to narrate, it's gonna be
Yeah.
Morgan Freeman like, and then T'Challa.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne.
Because I don't think
He'll be the voice of I don't know.
I hope we don't have any
Galactus.
Iron Man thing. I hope we don't have any like gratuitous Avenger cameo.
It doesn't need it,
It
so I
doesn't.
hope that they don't.
And if it is, I hope it's the shortest ever. I hope that if they have to feel like they do
Yeah.
for the sake of the continuity,
Like
Tony,
they walk past Bucky, so then you remember Civil
Oh,
War.
right. That's fine. That's enough. Or Chris
Yeah.
Evans is like leaving in the beginning of the movie. Like he's just walking out the front
Yeah.
door, no dialogue, just like,
He's like,
good to see you. Gets on the Quinjet, takes off. Like remember Avengers. But I don't need a lot.
I want to point out, by the way, that I know Matt Key wrote this up. It looks like it says Angela Bassett is playing Forrest Whitaker. And I'm
yeah,
like, she'd probably do a really good job.
she could do it.
Dude,
Yeah.
a friend of ours, fan cast, Sam Witwer. Dude, Sam would be perfect as Namor.
Yeah.
Sam's got
Okay.
a very handsome, punchable face.
Yes. Yeah.
And he's got a ness, and he's got like a authority, and he's got the physicality.
Yeah.
I like that.
You know who else that just made me think of though was the Supernatural boys. Who's
Jensen Ackles?
Jensen? Not Jensen, but Jensen Ackles. Yeah.
Short hair.
Yeah.
What's long hair guy?
I
What's
don't
his name?
remember his name. I was gonna be his stand-in for a while.
Oh, the
We're the
hair?
same height,
Yeah.
and the same '90s hair. Jensen Ackles could be a pretty good Namor.
I like that.
Yeah,
Into
he's
it?
kind of punchable and like gets the job
Oh, yeah,
done.
that's our
Punchable.
Yeah. It's like,
Yeah.
the
It's like
you have to be
Sigourney Weaver
punchable.
breakdown is smartest in the
Right.
room. Can wield a flamethrower. We're
Yeah.
like Namor, punchable.
Punchable
Yeah.
means business.
Any other questions from you lovelies out there?
Let's see. Here's a fun one from John Camelot at John Camelot with a K. Who would have the best tweets from Marvel? I'd love to see Galactus's lunch tweets.
His Instagram would be gold. Deadpool.
Oh, of course.
I have the nerd
His
answer.
Snapchat would be ridiculous.
Oh my
Yeah.
god, can you imagine?
Yes.
Wow.
Every
Oh, his would be
filter.
perfect. Yes.
Every-
filter
And there'd be so many unicorns.
and
There
crotch
would be
shots.
so
Oh
many.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it'd be a very
Yes.
hard R-rated Snapchat.
That is a great question, and there is an official answer. I'll have you know.
Ooh.
Because every issue of Squirrel Girl starts with her Twitter feed, which
does.
includes Iron Man, Galactus, multiple character, Deadpool, Howard the Duck, who is hilarious because he can't tweet because of his thumbs, so his tweets are always broken English and he can't talk, can't use the cell phone. Every issue of Squirrel Girl starts with Squirrel Girl's Twitter feed, and it is fantastic.
I've got one.
Yes.
Gwenpool.
Gwenpool?
Because she's from
our
have a
world.
Twitter. And
That's true.
Her superpower is knowing that she's
That's
in a
strong.
comic, so her Twitter would be meta and aware and actually possible.
That's
Okay,
strong.
I've got one.
Okay.
Drax.
Oh, that's so good.
His Twitter would
Oh
be
my god.
amazing.
But what's
It
funny
would be
is-
so literal.
No, but that's the problem though. Drax would be my crazy aunt. He would be sharing every
why it's
article
like
that's not
everything.
real. Yeah, he'd
Everything.
be like, "Did you know the water is making us this?" I'd be like, "Drax, none of that's real." He would
I
share
went to
every
the gym,
article.
shirtless photo, like
Yes,
Drax,
yes.
like selfie, but like
It would
they
be-
said this is how to Twitter.
It would be all the gym selfies.
That'd be so good.
All of them. Or him like destroying a guy and be like,
They said to share my favorite moments. Yeah, that'd be a quality.
okay.
Yep.
So some quick shout outs. Dallas Stumbler at Dallas J Stumbler. Shout out for your birthday. That was on Sunday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy belated. Shout out to Teresa Luz at Teresa Fortes Luz. She's finally watching the show live today. She's like, can I get a shout out for that? I'm like,
yeah.
Welcome,
Yeah,
Teresa.
congrats. I think we've had a full show. We've been going for a little
8
bit.
hours.
We've been going for 8 hours.
Stop me.
And okay, so I have some pictures that
awesome.
people sent us, also from Teresa Luz. She wanted to share her new comics with us. She's got She-Hulk and Iron Man comics. Aunt Manthony, can we have
It's
can we
so
have that
good.
up? It should be
I feel like it's done. I feel like
Yeah.
it's strong.
it should be one of the first ones. She has the 3 comics laid out on
Ooh,
it
good
looks like a
choices.
very very lovely
a
bed
good run.
cover. But yeah, Invincible Iron Man, and then two issues of She-Hulk.
Man, I love both those. Both those titles. She-Hulk's been great, and Bendis is just Bendis.
Oh man, Iron Man's so good.
Yeah, and then Daniel Drew at Jedi Time Sand, and then also Dan Victorio at SpamEggs81. They shared Logan frames with us. Actually, we'll do this one. This is Dan Victorio's, and it's frame 791 out of 1974. Remembering back when everybody gets one of those postcards.
So cool.
Well, whoever got under the radar. For it. So it's a picture of it looks like X-23. She's staring off into the distances in black and white. And you kind of see the room behind her. It's kind of epic looking, especially for just a frame. And then the other one by Daniel Drew, this is Logan is frame 5. And you can see the car, and the car is driving. It's on the left-hand side of the postcard, also in black and white. And you just kind of see like a deserty kind of tundra happening there.
I can't wait for that movie next month.
Yeah. So yeah, those are pictures.
So I do believe that is all of our news, all of our show. Is there any final wrap-up questions or anything we want to...
Do y'all have any?
yeah, do you guys have anything you are curious about in the Marvel Universe? Or
No more for Coy's family? I'm surprised.
I thought it was going to get heated there for a second. I was getting worried the live chat would just lean on into that
I
suggestion.
know. You've got Coy's
This
dad
is
and
the
sister
one
here.
time blackmail is at the surface. It just is a moment away. And I didn't even think of that ramification when I brought them in. That didn't even cross my mind. But I guess my altruistic view of my fans is right, because they did not use this horrible time against me.
They're very nice. I'm disappointed in all of you.
What's that?
Careful, you have a couple.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
it. That's
that's
how it ends. Actually, I don't know if Ann Anthony. I just sent you an email with a picture. I don't know if you can get that in time. But when I went home, I actually gathered my childhood toys and I just brought them back with me. So I have a few dozens of those '94 animated series action figures, both 5 and 12-inch. The
Yep.
thing's moving and grooving.
Yep.
I'll bring those and show you guys probably next week. Anything else for you guys? Anything you want to talk about?
I can't wait to see those toys. Go get to see them. If not, that's okay. I just remember the 12-inch were all repaints of the same 2 toy.
Yeah,
There's
there
like,
were a lot of
There's like
re-ups,
one
man.
character, and they just repainted him 14 times and called him everything every other character.
I didn't know the Deadpool thing. With
The cloak was a Deadpool figure.
That's
it was
crazy.
Deadpool's face, because the Deadpool figure came with a removable mask and his face
Ooh.
like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That makes me real happy.
I may still have
Well,
it.
if you guys want to see the picture of the toys and stuff, it's on my Instagram, which is at COYJANDREAU. I'll tweet it out again, and then I'll actually probably bring a smorgasbord for next week.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll have a new whole array since we've had
Yeah.
the last ones for the last 2 years.
Toy party.
Do you guys have anything you want to talk about for your own life stuff?
As usual, you can catch me on Mondays on AfterBuzz for the WWE Raw AfterBuzz show. Yay, words. So yeah, that's Mondays at we'll say 8:30-ish. We'll say around there. So, yeah, and if you want to tweet me, it's at Markia McCarty, Markeia MCCARTY. That's also my Instagram. Yeah, let's talk Sailor Moon, let's talk wrestling, let's talk Marvel. And you can see my Snapchat. It's not like Drax's Snapchat.
Markia in the gym, always.
Yeah,
Very
I'm just like,
literal,
ooh.
throwing bows.
And killing bros. Throwing bows and killing bros.
That's a She-Hulk comic.
It's Darth Thin Mints. Darth is in Vader, Thin Mints as in Girl Scout cookies.
That's a really good handle. And as I said at the top of the show, I do a podcast called Punch Drunk TV, in which my friend Aaron and I drink and yell about television because we really like TV and we get very passionate about it. We do also discuss the Marvel shows, and I'm the official nerd on the show. So when Aaron goes, I don't know what a Cloak and Dagger is, then I get to talk about it for 30 minutes. So that's why I love this show as well. So please check that out at punchdrunktv.com and also on iTunes at Punch Drunk TV. You can find me on Twitter at Flatline Jack.
I will be hoping to go on that very soon, as I am watching the most TV I have watched
Ooh.
in quite some time.
Yes.
Because of you, Lethal Weapon happened, and there's a lot of good TV out
You
there.
don't get drunk.
It's gonna be a hot mess that episode. So when I get on there, I will tweet it out at COYJANDRE. Yeah, I have a name. At COYJAN.
Can we go to the experts on
Yes.
this?
Wait, you've had this name for longer. How is it spelled? At COYJANDREAU is my Twitter and my Instagram, and I want to thank my lovely family for joining me from all the way on the East Coast to visit for this, and I want to thank the fans for not using that against me.
I'm disappointed in all of you.
This has
again.
been Marvel Movie News. Any closing thoughts from my family? Fun?
You want to show
Yeah.
those toys?
Oh, we got
Let's
the
see
toys!
for just a second.
We got the
Yeah.
toys.
Can we
Okay,
see
we
those
can
toys for just
end
a
it
second?
on
We'll
the
end on
toys.
Yes, Anthony.
So these are some of my childhood. This is how I was
Man,
raised.
Scarlet Spider right there.
There he is, a 12-inch no less. He's
Yep.
a full-fledged Scarlet Spider. So this is when I got into comics, thanks to my dad when I was a wee. These were what I spent my money on, basically comics and these toys, and those weren't cheap. So that was a lot of allowance, and those. Yeah, that's true. That's a lot of Christmas in those boxes. So I'll be bringing some of those in sporadically, and that's that I think is our show, folks.
Yeah.
We will see you next week. This has been Marvel Movie News. Is there closing music?
From producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire Popcorn Talk Network, we would like to thank you for tuning in. For questions or comments, be sure to visit popcorntalk.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of the Popcorn Talk Network.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Popcorn Talk Network or its owners or principals.